Hey there. Hello, how do you do? My name is Harry Wetzel. Thanks for coming. It's the 80s, darling. Yes, 1985. A sunny weekday afternoon. I have been seeing Mirella for a few dates now. She's delicious. I'm very smitten with her, and she's very lovely, and we have a lovely time together. She has an easy laugh, and we're sitting at her apartment on this sunny weekday afternoon. Her other apartment. Yes, this is not the apartment where we first smooched and I carried her up the stairs. No, this is another apartment on the Upper West Side, but not down on 92nd or 3rd, whatever street. It's up on Riverside Drive. It's still only a 6 or 7 minute walk. She's still in my neighborhood. But Riverside Drive over here is a little bit fancier neighborhood. Yes. And she was apparently hunting around. She's apparently wealthy, being a young Wall Street trader. And she said she couldn't pass it up because the price was just too good. She's not sure whether she's going to rent it out or actually live there. She's getting it remodeled and renovated right now. So there's plastic sheeting all over the place and hardly any furniture. But she says, if it's really nice, I'll just stay here myself. Well, it was already pretty nice. There's no furniture in the place. There's plaster dust everywhere. And there's a dusty sofa that we're sitting on, and we're smooching, and we're laughing, and we're talking. And over here is a dining table with no chairs, but a computer, a big boxy computer, and a big monitor, a big TV set, a big TV screen on the dining table, and a little keyboard. And she occasionally leaves the dusty sofa where we're sitting and goes over to the keyboard and taps a few things in. And she says, oh, all right. And then she comes back and sits down and smooches me again. I say, is everything all right? She says, we'll see. So it's a Thursday afternoon this day, and we're sitting around smooching, and we're talking about her workout routine. Yes, she's very proud that she's got up to 100 laps a day in the pool. Yes. And you can see it in her skin, the way she glows. You can see it in her face. You can see it in her spirit. She is in peak physical condition. She looks like an Olympian. She's so beautiful. And with that space in her two front teeth, she's just so gorgeous to me. I love looking at her. Anyhow, she likes to sit around in various states of dress and undress. And this particular Thursday afternoon, she's wearing a white shirt, long sleeve white shirt, slightly large, long sleeve white shirt. And that's it. No pants, no socks, just the white shirt. She's magnificent. Well, every now and then she gets up and goes and taps over something on the keyboard. And this one time she goes over and taps something out. She says, yes. Wait a minute. She says, oh, and she started laughing, her musical purr of a laugh. It was just magnificent. And she looked over at us, smiling so happily. And I said, is everything all right? She says, I just made $700. And I said, oh, yeah, what do you mean right now? She says, yes, exactly, right now. And she came over to me on the sofa and she opened her shirt and she crawled on top of me and straddled my lap and started kissing me. I can't tell you what secret magical power she had, but oh, she did indeed have a secret magical power. All right, so it's still audition season in New York City, which means it's New York City. It's always audition season. And I'm auditioning, and I've gotten to be excellent at turning in an audition that guarantees I won't get called back. But I persist. And so it came to pass that I saw in the newspaper, backstage, an audition notice for a play that was going to take place in Detroit, Michigan. Right there in my New York paper, there was an ad for an audition coming up this next weekend. And the audition was for a play at the Attic Theater in Detroit. Attic Theater, one of the pinnacles of excellence in Detroit theater. I had auditioned a few times at the Attic, but I had not yet gotten in. But now I would be auditioning for the Attic Theater with a New York address on my resume. Ah, who knows if it'll make any difference? 'Cause I'm still me. I'm still actually pretty good. I'm just terrible at auditioning. I know. So it says that Lavinia, the artistic director herself, is coming to New York City this Saturday and Sunday and to make a call. And so I did. It turns out that Lavinia was going to bring Charlene, the director. Lavinia's the producer, Charlene's the director. And they were both coming to New York this weekend to audition. And they wondered if they could come to my apartment because it was easier for them to go to people's apartments than to try and rent a place and have people come to them, which would have been much more expensive, of course. So we arrange it, and Lavinia and Charlene are coming to my apartment, to Pamela's beautiful apartment this weekend, this Sunday at 5 p.m. Right. So I have got to get my shit together. Yes. And I realized that I read about it. This is a play called Greater Tuna. This is a show with 2 actors and 10 characters each. Yes. Everything, men, women, and children in the mix. Yes. I really wanted to get this show. So I went to Shakespeare and Company and got a copy of the play, Greater Tuna. Yes. And I read it and I read it and I read it and I read it. And I learned monologues from it, and I got to be familiar with it, and I really wanted to get this show. It got to the point where in my mind I had to get this show. I had to get out of New York for just a little respite, just a little bit, so I could regroup. I was coping with living in New York, but that's what it was. It was coping. It was a lot of work. I had worked so hard this last job I had at the Double Image Repertory Company, and it was such a thankless, exhausting job in a cold, cold city. So I had to get that job back in Michigan. Speaking of cold, cold cities, I talked to Mirella on the phone. She said she had to go out to her other place in Montauk. Yes, apparently she was rich as hell. She had another place out here at the Ultima Thule of Long Island called Montauk, way out at the far end of the island, where the haunts of the very rich take place. Yes. She said she had another place out there and there was issues. She was remodeling and refurbishing and renovating it because there was terrible troubles with the plumbing, apparently. She said she'd be out there for a while, maybe weeks, maybe longer. I knew what was going on. This is the brush-off. This is the brush. The Montauk Brush-Off. I mean, I knew that she liked spending time with me. Those kisses she gave me were real. But I also knew that something was missing. And I wondered if it was money. Well, she's this high-powered, wealthy, high energy, physically fit, young Wall Street trader. And suddenly she's dating this high energy, pasty faced, paunchy pudgy, bum out-of-work actor. And I wondered if she was a little embarrassed about it. Anyhow, she gave me her Montauk number. We spoke on the phone a couple times, but most of the time she was just an answering machine. And eventually, she stopped returning my calls altogether. Well, what did you expect? It's New York. Welcome to another heartache. Excuse me. And I think it goes without saying that Ainshaw, and I never saw her again. Well, anyhow, that was depressing. Yeah. So I'm just hanging on here. I'm miserable. I'm already depressed. And now Morella's out of the picture. Well, I'm getting unemployment insurance. Shouldn't be getting basically free money. Make you feel a little bit happier? Yeah, well, a little bit, but it's not enough. So I buried myself in the audition, getting ready for the audition this weekend. You know, there's nothing I can do but just learn these monologues. They're going to come in my apartment here and they're going to watch me. And I just hope, because I know that I'm basically crummy at auditions, I just hope against hope that I don't blow the audition. Well, now it's Sunday, September 1985. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and there's a tap, tap, tap on the door. It's straight up 5 o'clock. It's Lavinia and Charlene. I let them into Pamela's beautiful apartment. They see the place. It's lovely. I'm very proud. And 5:02, tap, tap, tap. There's another actor that they wanted to schedule with me, so I would have somebody to read with. Some guy named Brent, wearing khakis. He looked like a serial killer. Anyhow. So I had Lavinia and Charlene sit on the comfy sofa in the dining room, and I pulled out the piano bench, and I got out of the way. So this Brent character sat down on the piano bench, and he read his monologue. He was better than I wanted him to be. Then I sat down on the piano bench, and I read my monologue. I was not as good as I wanted to be. Then they sat us both down on the piano bench, and we read a scene from the play, the first scene, the opening scene from Greater Tuna. And that was it. Some auditions are dreadfully long. Some auditions are mercilessly short. You don't know what the director is looking for or even how they're looking for it. And I knew that I didn't do the job that I wanted to do. I swear I saw Lavinia, the producer, look at Charlene, the director, after the audition was over and give an almost imperceptible shake of her head. Of course, I thought I had blown the audition, so anything that I saw, I was going to read the worst into it. Anyhow, that was it. This Brent guy got up, he left. Lavinia and Charlene stood around. We had small talk for a minute or two, and they had to be on their way. They had more auditions to go to. So, off they went. And I was bested on my own turf. Drat. In my own apartment. Double drat. So then began the wait. So then I was in a quandary as to what to do with my auditioning situation. So what do I stop going to auditions altogether and hope that I hear a call back from Lavinia and Charlene? Or do I go on auditions? And what if I suddenly get cast all of a sudden? Now I've got to decide whether I'm going to accept this job or maybe hang on for a possible job, which is ridiculous. You know what they say about a bird in the hand? I'm going to pass up an actual job for a possible job. It was crazy. Or then the other possibility is if I get this job, if I somehow get cast, what do I fly the coop on it? If Tuna comes through? Well, flying the coop on the show was completely out of the question. So I thought, well, what if I go and I give a crummy audition intentionally? And I'm going, well, that's ridiculous. I sabotage myself enough just as it is, just by existing. What are you going to go and try and intentionally give a crummy audition for? It was a very icky tightrope to be walking. I didn't know what to do. So I took a cue from one of my favorite movies, Berlin Alexanderplatz, by Rainer Werner Fassbinder. Yes. And Gunther Lamprecht. Yes. Plays Franz Bieberkopf. Yes. So I took a cue from that movie, from the scene where Franz Bieberkopf sat around in the daytime drinking warm beer in his garage. So I took a cue from that, and I sat around in my apartment drinking warm beer in the daytime. Now, it might not have been the best thing to do, but it was the only thing to do. And it was really easy. I'm a friendly enough drunk. This is easy enough to do. Sit around and drink warm beer in the daytime and get more depressed. Yeah. But what else are you going to do? But wait. So I did realize eventually that this was not the answer, right? I decided that I've got to change my whole attitude about this. I've got to focus on this. I've got to start manifesting this job. Yes. So I started focusing on it. I started to act as if I had gotten cast between me and myself. Right. I would thank the universe for this job. And I imagined what it would be like learning all the lines and going to rehearsals, walking the streets of Detroit again. I pictured myself successfully taking this job. I thanked the moon in all of her phases for bequeathing this job upon me. And I focused and read and read and read the play. And I knew that somehow this was going to come true because I believed enough, which is a tricky thing because, sometimes you can believe really hard and it doesn't come true. But I wasn't going to let that stop me. I'm going to focus and focus and focus on getting this job and act as if I already have it. But I didn't hear for a long, long time. So I had all this manifestation going on, all this positive energy, all this thanking of the universe for this happening. The hours crept and the days dripped, dripped, dripped like a slow drip. I was hoping for the best, expecting the worst, and the silence was deafening. I'd like to thank you for coming along this journey with me. There's more to come, clearly, and I look forward to sharing that with you next time.